All right, let's welcome in our guest, Mike Conley of the Utah Jazz. Mike, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, man.
We were talking off air. Tommy and I were. We have the same agent and agencies, and I didn't realize this until today, doing some research and also with some input from Jessica Holtz. But apparently, you are the nicest guy in the NBA.
I wouldn't believe that, man. You know, Jess is very good at her job. That's why she's able to do what she does. So
JJ was insulted, to put it mildly, by this comment. But he's not. But the thing with JJ is he's not close to the nicest guy. Like, he's not in the top 10. So I don't even think, Mike, we don't know each other well, but everyone says you're really nice. Everyone does not say JJ is really nice.
Actually, I don't get why that is. Is Jay he speaks his mind? I mean, is that supposed to be not nice? I mean, is that what?
I feel like I've mellowed out. I have not won 3 sportsmanship awards or a teammate of the year award like you have. I didn't even know that was really a thing. 3-time winner.
I didn't know until they rang my phone, man, and they're like, "Hey, you got this award coming." I'm like, "Cool." I don't know how or why, but I guess it's something to hang up on the wall.
Do the refs have a vote in the sportsmanship award? Do they have a vote in it?
I don't think they do, man. And if they did, I don't know what they think of me, man. They don't give me any foul calls. You saw last night, man. I didn't get to free throw line but like one time. Come on.
Tommy, did you say Mike he's not had a technical foul? Or at
I saw this stat earlier that you've never had a technical. You had a false alarm in 2014, but besides that, you've never been teed up.
That is true. That is true. I did have a false alarm. I had also another one where I stepped onto the court thinking there was a timeout, and I ran like to the free throw line and like chest bump Zebo or somebody, and they teed me up real quick, and I'm like, damn, my bad. I thought it was a timeout, but outside of that, been good.
Jeez, man.
This is why you're the nicest guy. It's amazing. You played 13 years.
Do you not know he's in his 14th year? Do you not use the F word on the court? This is confusing. No, I'm being serious, because at some point in time, like I had this happen the other day. I caught the ball. I tried to drive the basketball. Somebody clearly hand checked me, and they impeded my progress, and I passed the ball into the post, and I turned to the referee and I said, "That's a fucking foul." and she gave me a technical, and it was a warranted technical. I'm not going to fight it. It was a warranted technical. There's no time in your career at any point where you cursed out a referee or dropped an F-bomb to a referee.
Now, I think it comes with, once you set a reputation after a while, I can get away with the F-bomb. You know what I mean? Like you obviously, they say you're not the nicest guy in the league, so you drop an F-bomb, you get attacked. I drop it, they're like, "All right, Mike, hey, calm down a little bit." I get a little bit longer leash, that's all.
It is true. So some of the old heads I have a little bit of a longer leash with. Like back when it was, when Joey Crawford was still in the league, he let me. Kenny Mauer gives me a little bit of wiggle room, which I appreciate. You guys, so we're recording this for the listener. We're recording this on Wednesday in between 2 games. Our team's here in Utah. We played last night on Tuesday, and we play you guys tomorrow on Thursday. You guys beat us pretty soundly last night. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the system tweaks in terms of your sort of flow offense from last year, or even from the past 5 or 6 years with Quinn, because it seemed very not robotic, but it seemed like there was a sort of point A to point B to point C, and then you get to the pick and roll. And then when we watched the film on you guys the other day, I was like, oh, they're doing a little bit, different. There's the UCLA cut to start, and there's a much more corner pick and rolls. You guys obviously play with 4 shooters. Where did that sort of development come from? What was Quinn's thinking there?
I think, with Q, he's been waiting to kind of get the right group of guys together to be able to ultimately, put a system in place, but within that system, have guys that can be, make plays and have multiple ball handlers and shooters on the court. So, like you said, we do run a pretty simple system when it comes to, our flow offense. But once we get to our spots, it becomes, one or two reads, and then guys just play. You got Donovan trying to, get to the rim, Jordan Clarkson trying to get to the rim, myself trying to make plays, and, Boyan, everybody spacing the floor. So with that kind of personnel, we've just kind of had to really work on, understanding when we can and can't, break that system. And we've done a good job with it, I guess, so far.
One of the hardest things to guard to me is when you're in a help position, specifically if you're the low man, and then you've got to close out onto a shooter. And you guys are playing with 4 shooters. Last night you just I'm assuming we're going to make some adjustments, but last night you had us running around, and it was to the point where I'm like, yo, for us to get a stop, we basically have to have like 5 perfect closeouts where you're able to run a guy off the line and contain the basketball, because it was just like downhill, downhill, downhill. I think that's one of the things in playing the way you do, but also with the personnel you have, because you have to have the right personnel. And with Royce and Bogdan, on the wings, it's sort of a perfect fit along with Rudy as the rim runner.
It really is, and like you said, it's not an easy thing to do. We've got a lot of guys who can do a lot of good things offensively, but you have to sacrifice, drive the ball and make plays for one another, and that's something that a lot of teams don't really want to do. And I think we've learned from Coach and the way he's kind of beat it in our heads that to be unselfish and to make the right plays and the right reads. And you got guys like Rudy who don't get enough credit for what he does, and the magnitude of him rolling to the rim just puts a lot of pressure on teams. So as long as we continue to build around that kind of chemistry, it's like you said, it is. I hate guarding closeouts and multiple action, like playing the Spurs and stuff like that. Like I hate it. Those are the longest nights ever.
That's what it felt like last night. It felt like the Spurs circa 2014. That's the best. That's the best approximation of what it felt like last night. Was
Joe talking shit to you last night? Joe,
to me?
Because he went off.
I mean, he was talking shit all during warmups. When I told him during warmups that we were having Mike on the podcast, and he goes, "What are you running out of guests?"
Oh yeah, he's a hater. He's a hater.
Joe really is the worst. You mentioned sacrifice, and I this is something I wanted to get into you with, but you were never like a ball dominant point guard the way that some other guys are when you played in Memphis. But playing alongside Donovan, last year I would assume was a bit of an adjustment, and there has been, I think, some sacrifice for you to your usage and the amount of time that you have with the ball in your hands coming here. How hard was that adjustment? And it seems like this year your shooting numbers are up, your assist numbers are up. You're definitely more comfortable. You battled some injuries last year, but I would assume that first year was a pretty tough adjustment.
Yeah, that first year was tough on me. Just to like you said, I've been in a system where I was the primary ball handler for 35 minutes of the game, just, constantly had the ball in my hand, whether I was shooting or not. And to come here where, you got Donovan, you got JC, you got Joe, a bunch of guys who can handle the ball. And I spent a lot of my time just kind of finding my way, into the corner and spacing and just trying to really learn to be a player, an effective player from that aspect. And with injuries on top of that, it was just a rocky kind of start to it. And I think as the season went on last year, got to the bubble, everything started to smooth out a little bit more. I started to understand where I can be effective and my role a little bit better. And this season is basically just all come together early on. So just trying to continue to understand I won't have the ball every time. So when I do, just make the most of it and be as efficient as possible.
Disjointed would be a good way to describe last season for everybody. I think for you probably more so with the injuries, pre-COVID, and then you actually had to leave the bubble for the birth of, I think it was your third kid, right?
Yeah, little Elijah, man.
Good for you, man.
Congrats.
Thank you. No, that's great.
When you found out that your wife obviously you knew she was pregnant, but when you found out you were going to be in the bubble, what was that conversation like? Because for me, I'm just going to be honest, I don't know that my wife would have let me leave to go to the bubble in the first place.
Man, listen, it was not easy, man. I had to sit there and because you know how it is, like you try to plan as much as you can. Like, yeah, we're gonna have a kid in the summertime, after the championship's over, hopefully we make the championship, all that. And then COVID hit, and it's like now the baby's coming like in the middle of the playoffs. It's gonna be like at least the first round. So she knew it, and I tried to prepare for it best I could, and she was emotional, the whole way through, obviously. And my kids didn't understand why I was leaving, also. So it was kind of like, I felt real bad, but we made it work, and I was happy to be able to get to see her on the day she had the baby. Like I didn't get to actually be there for the birth because she called me at like 3 a.m. and we're getting ready for the playoff game. I didn't answer the phone. I didn't know. And everything escalated so quickly, and she's having the baby in like 3 hours after that. So like I didn't have enough time to get out, but made it there to be there for a day, and flew back and quarantined and got back to it.
I got two August kids as well. And
nice.
Yeah, the first one was planned. Second one was just dumb luck that we had it. We had him in August.
Nice.
I'm very curious to talk to you about the grit and grind days, which is what you're known for, what the Grizzlies are known for. Have you had any time in the last 2 years to sort of reflect on that team, on that era, and sort of what it meant for you as a player, but also for that group and for the city of Memphis?
I think over the last couple of years, I think all of us have kind of, whether we've connected or in some way or spoken through text or over the phone, kind of have brought back those memories and kind of try to relive what we're able to do and what we're able to accomplish. And I hear it a lot now, like talking to a bunch of the younger guys on my team, how much they enjoyed watching our team play and the way that we did it. And it just brings back, all the feelings that we had, because it was a small market. Memphis wasn't known for being a good organization. Basketball wasn't like, the number one thing. And, it just wasn't on the map in that aspect. And what we were able to do and turn it over and accomplish with, while the NBA had so many great teams and great players, was a feat. So, I mean, that whole group with Tony, Zebo, Mark, Rudy, Gay, and all those guys, man, it was a fun 8 or 9 years that we had that group together.
When did you first get the sense that you might have something sort of special cooking with that crew?
I would say it might have been the lockout year. I can't remember exactly. Whatever year we played the Spurs in the first round of the playoffs, we had a team that was like, all of a sudden we looked down the roster and we're like, man, we're really deep. Like just every position, we had 2 guys at every position. And when we went to play against the Spurs, like there was no fear in anybody. Like we were like, we're going to win. Like that's how we felt. And when you kind of looked around the locker room and saw that, it was like, I can get with this. I like this team. I like these guys. And that kind of mindset and motto just stuck with us. And we became, that grit and grind, defensive, physical team that everybody knew.
I think a lot about my time with the Clippers and the Lob City era is very there. We have something in common, is that we in some ways left some sort of imprint on basketball, but we didn't win.
Yeah, right.
We didn't win. We actually, the furthest we got was the conference semifinals, and I think not even including the years that I was there, I think they made it one other time to the conference semifinals, and then we made it to the conference semifinals twice. You guys made it to the conference finals. But it is interesting to think about sort of the what ifs. For me, my what if is the 15 season. When we're up 3-1 against Houston. That same season, you guys could have ended the Warriors dynasty before the Warriors dynasty even started.
That's funny.
Take me through that series. You guys are up 2-1 with a home game in Game 4.
Yeah, man. It's funny you bring that up. I was talking to Dale Demps about it like literally yesterday when I was getting ready to play y'all guys. So that series is our what if, I think, more than anything, because if we win that series, who knows if the Warriors are the Warriors dynasty of, that everybody knows. You never know. But to begin the series, I had just got the orbital fracture in the previous series, so I missed game 1. Came back for game 2. We won. Ended up winning at home again, go up 2-1, and we're like, hey, we got these guys. We know what we got to do. We know what needs to be done. And Steve Kerr started making huge adjustments. I mean, huge adjustments in game 4. He put Andrew Bogut on Tony Allen and kind of cross match. Just kind of threw us all for a loop. And we were running in mud at that point, trying to figure out how we're going to, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're trying to figure it out. And at the end of the day, when you look back at it, and it's like, man, if one or two things were different, if we win that game 4, if, I was 100%, healthy, there's so many things. If Tony didn't, have a hamstring injury in game 5 or 6, there's so many thoughts that go through our head. But, like you said, we did a lot of great things, but not enough to win. And it's unfortunate.
You guys made the conference finals in 2013. You got swept by the Spurs. And I remember early in my career, we made the finals my 3rd year, made the conference finals my 4th year. And at the time, especially when you're that young, you feel like that window is going to be open forever.
Yeah.
And then, after the 15 season, in retrospect, of course, because when you're still on the team, but after the 2015 season when I was with the Clippers, in retrospect, that was our window. And maybe we didn't quite realize it at the time. But, towards the end of my last year with the Clippers, we probably, at this time now, Kevin Durant's on the Warriors, and you're kind of it's a weird position to be in when
right.
you're still on the team, but you're like, man, did we lose it? Is the window gone?
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly how, especially like you said, looking back at it, I feel like we had maybe that between that lockout year, 2011-12 ish to the 15-16 season was was gold. It was gold. And we didn't really understand that. We were young, we were, we're making it. We made the playoffs 8 straight years or whatever it was, and we're just it was a part of what we did. And we thought we were going to go to the conference finals and do all these things. And I think when we got to the West Conference Finals against San Antonio, it was like we can really make it to the finals one of these years coming up if we don't win this one. So, I think Pop was he was hurt about the 1-8 loss the couple of years before, because he gave it to us, man. We had no chance. Swept us easy. So it was a learning experience, but like you said, at the end of the day, you look back at it and it's man, that was our chance, and you're just hoping to get that chance again.
With Valentine's Day quickly approaching, the number one question on every guy's mind is, what's the gift that's really going to wow? So 1-800-Flowers.com is here with a helpful hint. Roses. Get the roses. And this Valentine's Day, the biggest and brightest roses can only be found at 1-800-Flowers. Right now, 1-800-Flowers has an amazing offer for my listeners. Get the 18-stem Enchanted Rose Medley for $39.99, or double it up to the 36-stem Enchanted Roses for $20 more. That's right, 18-stem Enchanted Rose Medley for $39.99, or double the roses for $20 more. Guys, I've done this before myself. Chelsea's a big fan of roses. I get her flowers every Valentine's Day, always from 1-800-Flowers, and take it from me, it's a no-brainer. Bouquets are limited, so lock in your order today. To order the 18-stem Enchanted Rose Medley for $39.99 or double the roses for $20 more, go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, and enter code JJ. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code JJ. Hurry, this offer expires Wednesday.
JJ, I don't know about you, but I think blocks are one of the best parts of the game. My favorite recent one is probably when Bam blocked Jason in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Just an incredible athletic play.
Yep, and I think one of my favorite blocks, though, was LeBron's block on Iggy in the finals. It's one of the most iconic moments from any recent NBA Finals. It completely changed the whole game. But you know what? As great as those blocks are, there's one that I like even more, and that's the transaction block on my privacy.com account. See what we did there?
We've been making some pretty good transitions recently on these ads on this show.
Privacy.com is a tool that lets you buy things online using virtual cards instead of your real ones, protecting your identity and bank information on the internet. Let me explain how this works. With privacy cards, you can generate different virtual numbers for each purchase you make online. With each card you create, you can set spend limits to ensure merchants can't sneak hidden fees past you. Say your game streaming service is $10 every month. Simply create a card for this subscription at the $10 limit, and should they ever try to double bill you, the transaction will automatically be blocked. See what we did there? And you'll be notified instantly. Same goes for a data breach or if someone steals your card number online.
Here's another great tip. Use privacy to control your subscriptions. You know that gym subscription you're probably not currently using? Simply pause your privacy card and they'll block the monthly charges for you until you're ready to turn it back on.
So don't wait. Head to privacy.com/oldmanandthe3, all one word, and sign up for an account right now. It's completely free, and all new customers will receive $5 towards their first purchase if you sign up through this link. Again, that link is privacy.com/oldmanandthe3, all spelled out, one word. Completely free with $5 through our link.
One of the things that I loved about those teams, and I'm sort of curious your perspective on it, looking back on it, was you guys, like from Tony, Zebo, you, Mark, you guys were just like tough motherfuckers. Like you were all good defensively. Some of you were mean. You know what I mean? I'm like, we know it wasn't you, but some of you were mean. Like you were not fun to play against, no matter who you were playing. Did you start to feel that where you were kind of like teams would come in there and it wasn't that they were fearing you necessarily, but they were like, these guys are going to rough us up in a way that might be different than, another opponent?
Yeah, man, I was the biggest beneficiary of that because, like you said, I'm the nicest person, and I'm not trying to get no text or fight and none of that. But I had a bunch of guys around me that were about that action. So with Zebo and Tony, down the line, Mark, we just had a really rough, tough-minded group, but mentally we knew coming in that a lot of teams, how they felt about us. It was like, man, we know Tony's going to grab, Zebo's going to elbow you, Mark's going to set hard screens. I'm going to try to get every steal in the world. I'm going to, just be pesky and all that. So, it was going to be a tough night. And we just enjoyed having that kind of, rep about us, knowing that, we were that team, we were the Detroit Pistons strong bad guys or whatever you want to call us. So it was cool.
I don't know if you remember this, but in 2015, the seedings for 2 through 6 came down to the last day of the regular season. And I think we ended up with the 3 seed. Houston was 2, Spurs 6. You guys, I think, played OKC in the first round. And everybody had like either 56 or 55 wins, whatever it was, somewhere around there. I remember we were watching the last night of the regular season at Mastro's in Beverly Hills. Ballmer had put together a little team dinner, and we're watching the games. We don't know who we're going to play in the first round. And like guys start talking, like, who do you want to play? Who do you want to play? And the guys that had been on the team, like Blake and Chris and DJ, unanimously were like, I don't care who it is as long as it's not Memphis. I do not want to play Memphis.
That's really funny, man. That's
you guys had a couple, like I think it was 2012 and 2013. You guys had a couple battles with them.
Yeah, I was about to say on the flip side, we were probably thinking the same thing. We're like, we don't want to see the Clippers anymore. Like we see them all the time. Every playoff year is against them. I think one year we were down early in the series, maybe 0-2, and came back and won, and then we lost one in a game 7 at our home place against Chris and them. So we had a lot of battles in the playoffs, and at that year we were just we were tired. We were just like, man, just give us somebody else, give us Portland, give us OKC, just somebody different, so we can plan differently and not have to pull out the same binders. When we had binders back then with like actual plays and stuff in it, not iPads. So, so it was something different for us.
Who was the biggest character on that team, on those grit and grind teams?
It's hands down is Tony Allen, man. Tony Allen. There's so many stories about that guy, and you see that it's how he acts on his, he has a radio show he does every Tuesday with Chris Vernon in Memphis. Still, I keep up with him, and he's 100% genuine, 100%. Like everything he says, he's honest, he's funny, he holds nothing back, and at the same time, he will fight you, at any point. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, he's the man, and I look up to him in a lot of ways.
I thought it was funny when we had KD on the show a couple months ago, and we asked him who the person he least liked going against was, and he said Tony in like 10 seconds. Like it wasn't even I don't even think he hesitated at it at all.
Well, KD also feels like no one in the world can guard him, which is right. I mean, rightfully so. Yeah. But he said the one guy that gave him some semblance of problems was Tony.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like probably felt that way about Tony, because Tony took all those matchups so serious. Like when he was playing KD, Kobe, any of the top guys, that was his time, and he would be stuck on you, right on your hip, and being physical, just making it really tough on you all night. And he never got tired. He never got tired. He always played through everything, and he just had really strong hands. You know what I'm saying? So like, he get his hand on the ball and he just push you out of your positions. And trust me, I know a lot because I practice against him every day, and I always would call him out and have him guard me. And I try to be quicker than him and do all that. And hardly worked, but it made me better, and I know it made him a little bit better too.
We played the Celtics in the 2010 conference finals, and they beat us 4-2. And I don't remember what game it was, but I had a couple good games early in the series, and I go to check in to a game, and it was a free throw. So I go and I line up for the free throw. I'm standing behind the 3-point arc, and Tony was in the game, and he comes over and walks over to me, and he bends down next to me, and he turns into my ear and just starts going, like as loud as he could breathe, as loud as a human could breathe, and as forceful as you could breathe, just breathing in my ear. And like, I'm not scared of people on the court, but I'm like, all right, dude, like what's this guy trying? Is he trying to get in my head? So I kind of just turned to him like, man, you good? You good? You need something?
Oh my God. That's hilarious. That's 100% him, man. It's like Lance Stevenson, his antics mixed, Tony, they're like, they kind of favor in a lot of things that they do. And by the way, they were on the same team at the same time at one point, Lance and Tony, which was hilarious, like if you could ever imagine. But I believe that 100%, man, and that's just who he is.
I was teammates with Lance in LA with the Clippers.
Oh
as well.
Yeah, so
Lance is a great dude. He's got a bad rep, but he's a great dude.
Man. He's the man.
He's a great dude.
What's one thing about Z-Bo that you appreciated that you feel like sort of fans don't necessarily know about him?
Man, what I appreciated about Z-Bo, I call Z-Bo probably the best player I ever played with because of multiple reasons. But one is because the guy could come out and give you 20 and 20 or 30 and 30 on a nightly basis, and not show up to the game until 40 on the clock, 50 on the clock, and just be on the phone, walk in and be like, oh, what's up, little bro? Yeah, oh, okay, we got the Clippers. Yeah, all right, yeah, okay, I'll be ready to go. And just go out there and just do it. Like I've never seen, like I'm over here like stressing. I'm 90 minutes before the game. I'm locked in, looking at film, doing all kind of things, and that guy could come in and just hoop, and he could do it. His longevity was because he didn't play above the rim. He could just do it forever, and it was impressive to me that I always say that. I imagine if Z-Bo shot 100 shots a day, or just did something like that, like how much better he would be. I don't know if that would make him better or not, because some guys have their own little rhythm and what they need and what they have to do to be great. And what he did was phenomenal, and he was great in the way he approached the game.
I think what made that team really unique is that you guys developed an identity and you bought into that identity. And then, you've been around the NBA long enough to know that egos can sometimes get involved. And year to year, I may want more shots. I'm in a contract year. I need this. I need that. And that team, the baseline of who that team was really never changed. And I think that's super rare in this league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree, man. And we were lucky, having leaders like Zebo and Tony and Mark, guys who just preached it every day. Just and it wasn't one of us bigger than anybody. We knew that Zebo and Mark and those guys were the stars of our team, but same time we knew the only way we were going to be good, in a league that was so deep, we need Clippers and OKC, and Dallas, and all these teams, San Antonio, that just in that Southwest division, you had all of those teams making the playoffs almost, 2 out of 3 years, and we knew we couldn't compete unless we were all together and kind of bonded in that manner. And once anybody who came from the outside joined our team, they had to get with the program, kind of thing. And it was easy, it was easy to be a part of those teams because of that.
Who's the smartest player that you've ever played with?
Smartest player I've ever played with?
Like basketball IQ.
Basketball
understand
IQ.
The game.
Yeah. Gosh. Probably Shane Battier, to be honest. Got to play with Shane. He took us on that, that year we beat the Spurs, and the things he would have me sit down and do before games, and like reading these sheets of stats and advanced analytics that are a thing now, but I don't think they were as big back then. But like I knew 80% of the time, you're going right, or you take 2 dribbles this way, left, just everything that was going into the game, he was thinking about, and he made me look at the game in a whole nother way, and preparing for it. So just the way he could break it down, and as smart as he is, obviously, but he was a heck of a player because of it.
Duke shout out.
Yeah.
Duke shout out. We love it. Can you shoot the basketball right-handed?
For sure.
With accuracy?
Easy.
Because your float game doesn't actually make sense. We all want it. We all want your float game. Imagine being able. I'm thinking to myself, if I could drive left and just be comfortable shooting a left-handed floater from 15 feet, what that would open up.
Man, I tell myself this all the time, like one of these years I'm just gonna convert and just shoot all right-handed, like free throws, jump shots, everything, because I'm naturally right-handed. So that's the problem, is somehow I developed the left hand as a youngster and just stuck with it. But if you ask me, if I took a 5-year break from the game, you asked me to shoot a 3-pointer from the top of the key, I'm shooting it right-handed, because it's just natural. It's a natural feel. Everything's natural. Lefty is I got to practice. I got to shoot. I got to get reps. So I'm just I'm a little confused, but it's working.
If we gave you 2 weeks in a gym to shoot spot shots, all right-handed, and then at the end of that 2 weeks, we shot 100 threes left-handed and 100 threes right-handed, which one are you making more with?
Ooh. And I have the equal amount of time, both hands.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I don't know. I'm afraid to say I might shoot better right-handed, and I don't want to say that, because then people are going to ask me to do. But I'm afraid to say that I might do better right.
You know what's weird though? I feel like a lot of lefty players, people that shoot left-handed, are right-handed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've told DeAndre Jordan this, and I told Ben Simmons this. I think they both should shoot right-handed. I've seen them shoot right-handed. It's better form.
Right.
It's better form right-handed. They do everything else right-handed. I don't understand why you're shooting a basketball left-handed.
Right. And I think we all fall in that category. And I think for those guys, it's like you're just afraid to like do it, But if you have to do it, and somebody said, "Hey, shoot 5 shots from 3 with your right hand," and you probably do really well. So they might need to listen to you.
Tommy, is making dinner for you a stressful event?
Always.
Are you tired of eating the same things?
For sure.
Do you wish you were eating healthier?
All the time.
Well, with HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. HelloFresh lets you skip those trips to the grocery store. I know we all want to skip those trips right now, and makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
HelloFresh cuts out stressful meal planning and grocery store trips so you can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in about 30 minutes or less. And it offers 23 plus recipes each week, featuring a range of flavors, cuisines, and ingredients so you'll never get bored.
It's really easy. Chelsea and I have used this plenty of times, and it's always a great meal and zero stress. And something I really like is that it makes eating healthier incredibly easy with low-cal, carb-smart, vegetarian, and pescatarian options every week. And no matter what you choose, every single recipe is packed with fresh produce sourced directly from farmers. It can also cut down your grocery bills up to 40%, so go to HelloFresh.com/10JJ. That's HelloFresh.com/10JJ and use code 10JJ for 10 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/10JJ and use code 10JJ for 10 free meals, including free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. So if you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you that running a business is tough, but you might be making it harder on yourself than necessary. It's time to upgrade to NetSuite. Stop paying for multiple systems that don't give you the information you need when you need it. Ditch the spreadsheets and all the old software you've outgrown. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place, instantaneously. Whether you're doing $1 million or hundreds of millions in revenue, save time and money with NetSuite. Join the over 24,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/JJ. Be smart. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/JJ. One more time, that's netsuite.com/JJ. Why would you sell the car of your dreams for a food truck that wasn't? Or fill your garage with enough servers to power a small country? Maybe you're hoping to be the new favorite lunch spot or to create the next big hit in gaming. Whatever your dream, you want to make the best business ever. And QuickBooks' suite of tools can help you get there. Intuit QuickBooks helps small businesses be more successful. Learn more at QuickBooks.com.
I was going to ask you this. So I'm not sure if all the listeners know, but you're arguably the best golfer of any active NBA player and NBA players in recent memory. I'm sure guys will get mad at me saying that, but it's a thing that is, you're in the conversation for sure. Have you always, when you were a little kid, we were talking with JJ Barea about this, about how he could dribble from when he was 3 years old. He just had it. Have you always had this sort of coordination where you could do any of these things?
Yeah, thankfully I have. I've been able to be blessed enough to pick up something and just learn it or whatever I got to do. I think basically I'm so competitive that, whatever, if I learn how to, I'm learning how to play backgammon 4 years ago, and just now all I do on my phone is play backgammon every single day, every minute of the day, because I want to be good at it, not because I'm good at backgammon. But it's like that with golf. I picked up golf about 10, 11 years ago, and I saw Mike Miller hitting the ball 1,000 yards, and just look like he's having a good time, and I'm just like not having a good time. And I'm like, but I want to be good. I don't really like golf, and I want to be good at it. So like I just worked, and got to a point where I could play. I could actually go out and play with him and have fun, and just got addicted, and just just don't like to lose much. So I think that's what it is.
There's an obsessiveness along with the competitiveness, especially when it comes to golf. What's your current handicap? Do you have a current handicap?
Yeah, I'm a 5, so I'm not anywhere near the top of the list of NBA golfers, but I'm close.
Let's do this list. Who else is your competition?
Steph,
for sure. Gerald Henderson is really good.
Yes,
he's really good. Who else I play? J.R. Smith's good.
Iguodala.
Yeah, Iggy's really good. Man, there's a bunch of guys you probably wouldn't even think. I mean, Kyle Korver, played with him a few years ago. He's really good. Man, it's just I got a group that I can kind of match up with well. Like I like to play with Chris Paul because he's like a 10 or 12. I can kind of win and feel good about it. But I don't like playing with Steph.
Is there any like high level courses that you've played?
Yeah, I guess the most recent one would be Pebble Beach, that I got to play last summer. It was pretty cool. I haven't been to like Augusta National or anything like that, but that was probably one of my best ones.
If you ever make it out to the Hamptons in the summer, we'll go play golf. Some of the best golf in the world is on Long Island.
Ooh, don't tempt me, man. Once COVID, just leaves, I'll hold you to it.
Dog, it's insane. It's Shinnecock, National, Sabonic, Friars Head, all right there within like 10 miles of each other. It's crazy.
Oh man, I would be in heaven. I would love it.
You've seen in your career, because you came in a year after me, you've seen a pretty remarkable evolution at your position. There wasn't a great emphasis on score first point guards when we first got in the NBA. And you've always been a guy who can score and facilitate, but the emphasis now really is on a guy who can attack and who can shoot high volume threes. Can you just kind of talk about the evolution you've seen and how that has affected sort of your own skill development and how you think about the position?
Yeah, it's been a remarkable change, man. And coming in, like when we were coming in early in our careers, like it was, you had to be the guy that kind of facilitated, got the ball to the big guys, and learned how to cut and just play in a different game. And now these guys are, not only are they shooting the ball, they're athletic, they're pushing the ball up and down, they're fast, they can all handle it. Some of them are taller. Some of them are Ben Simmons. It's just, you got the whole different array of point guard now. And in order to keep up, you kind of have to adjust. You have to adjust your game. Like I like shooting the ball, but I don't necessarily want to shoot the ball 25 times a game. I really don't. Like I just like to move it. But there's a point there where I had to learn to mentally do that. Like go in the games and, for Memphis, and I had to shoot 20 times. I was like, I had to force myself to think that way, and to keep up with this game and keep up with the competition. So it's definitely made us, all, hunt threes and all kind of be that kind of aggressive scoring point guard.
Do you think that your like de-emphasis on counting stats, your aversion to counting stats hurt you when it came time to pick all-stars?
Yeah, I do. That's a good way to look at it. I think that's what was awful for me, is because I'm like, man, I like I said, I don't want to shoot 25 times, but in order to, to average 25 and get 10 assists, you have to be that aggressive and have to do that. But I'm as good as all those other players that are getting in the all-star bids. And so it just, even like right now, I could care less about the stats. And I care about winning. I care about, the guts of the game. And when we got players like that, it's really hard to kind of bust that door down and be that all-star level player, because you might feel that you are, with your skills and all things you can do, you can score 30, you can have 10, 15 assists, but on a nightly basis, in order to be that guy, you have to want, to hunt that. And I just always had to battle that. I'd shoot 4 shots or make 3 in a row, and that 4th shot, I'd be like, I got to get this ball to mark, or I'm gonna pass this next one. Just that kind of mindset has kind of probably held me back a little bit.
We're human beings, and I think as human beings, we all want some sort of validation, and an award like the Sportsmanship Award or the Teammate of the Year Award is validation for how nice of a guy you are. But I'm sure, and I don't know how it is now, because you're 33 and you're older and your perspective may be different. But when you were younger and you were having great seasons and your team was having great success, were you disappointed at not getting that validation? Did that lack of validation, that lack of title, Mike Conley All-Star, did that bother you?
Oh yeah, for sure. It did, man. And it hurt a lot. Like I said, when you see guys around the league who, your friends and guys you came up with and drafting the same years and stuff like that are all getting their opportunities, whether it's one year or the next. I always was the guy that was kind of left out. And I mean, I always tell the story. There was a year, I think, can't remember exactly what year it is now, because I feel like I got snubbed a lot. So it was one of the years, but it was a year I actually was shooting the ball a lot, and I was averaging a good number, and our team was, I think we were like second in the West at the time, behind Golden State. And I'm excited. I'm like, man, we might get, at least 2 All-Stars in, and Mark or Zebo, or me and Zebo, Mark, I'm just excited. And, the first list comes out, and obviously we got, I think it might've been just Mark. We only got 1 All-Star, but we're the 2 seed by a long shot or whatever. And I'm averaging, I'm thinking second leading the team in scoring and all that. And so I'm like, dang, maybe next year. 2 days later, I think Anthony Davis got hurt, or somebody else got hurt. And then 2 other people got hurt. And I'm like, oh my God, they're like running out of bodies. Like, this is the year. This gotta be it. Like, there's no way that I don't make it. I gotta make it. And so I'm on the plane, and PR guy's next to me. And he's like, yeah, Mike, I'm just, this is real. You could, I'm waiting on the phone call now. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm sitting in the chair, just like this. I'm excited. And then like 10 minutes later, he's like, man, I think they went and they picked Dirk or somebody else. Now Dirk deserves to be an All-Star every year, but that year was my year, I thought. And I was like, man, just put me in the game. And, I think Dallas was like the 8th seed or something at the time. So it was frustrating. And at that point I was like, man, what if it happens, it happens, whatever.
I think that was 2015, because I think that was the year the All-Star game was in New York.
Yeah,
right?
That was it.
And there was an injury at the very last minute, because I got there right after our game, whatever, Wednesday. I went out to the Jordan party, and Dirk had got there that day, and he was at the Jordan party.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Dirk got another All-Star. Good for him. Good for him. Because Dirk needs another one. Dirk needs his 19th.
Give him a year off, man. Just give me one. That's all I was asking for. I'm not being selfish, man.
What are some of your memories from the draft? Because you had obviously you and Greg and KD, but there were a lot of good pros that came from that class.
Yeah. Man, I hope I can remember that far back, but it was a good group, man. We had, Al Horford, KD, obviously then you had Greg Oden, who was, slotted to be one of the better players coming up. And I think we were all expecting that. Obviously with the injuries, this didn't work out. But
for the people that didn't get a chance to see Greg pre-injury, can you describe him as a basketball player and what he was potentially going to be?
Oh man. To describe him, he was, with his body and the way that he was built, he was so much just more physically dominant than most players his age. And I kind of, I guess, could see him as right now as you look at Joel Embiid and the way he's, how big he is and how he can move and how he developed his 3-point shot and how athletic he is. I think all those things is what Greg could do and had the potential to expand his game too. And it would have been fun to kind of see that kind of come to fruition for him.
I love it. That's a great description. Mike, I'm going to let you go with your family. I know how important this time is right now because I know you just came back from the facility as well. So we appreciate the time, man. Thanks for joining us. Pels need a dub tomorrow.
Thanks,
all right,
man.
Pels need a dub.
All right, now I'm not chasing you around tomorrow, so just take a game off if you want.
All right.
All right, now.
Thanks, bro.
I'll see you guys.